All right, this is Crockett 36, and here we are again. Access Now has interviews, G40, Global 40, and we are here with the 2023 out of box, which means your standard board game that you purchase when you go to the game store. This is the one. This guy is the best in the world, at least as far as accessnowlas.org goes. There could be some guy out there in Kansas who is, just happens to be surrounded by geniuses. But as far as we know, we crown you king of Access Now out of box. Why don't you introduce yourself, Arthur Bummer Harris?
Arthur Bomber Harris is my son. I'm his dad, Doug. We used to share the account, and now that he's grown up, he doesn't play anymore. And I've continued on with his account and been going into the tournaments. I've been lucky last year and won last year, and good to be back again. Based in
Excellent.
Wisconsin, and enjoy playing the game.
Now you have a background there, and it's a mountain, and I am suspecting that you have been on that mountain.
Yep, went to the Northern Cascades this summer. Had a good trip in August. Got to go to Shuckskin, which was one of the most beautiful places I've been. And then this one was from Spickard. That's right near the Canadian border.
Now tell me, has there ever been any situation in these climbs? And I think you've got a significant amount of climbs in. Last time you mentioned Kilimanjaro as well as Denali and one in Argentina, I think.
Yep. Did
Um,
Aconcagua and now host Salado.
so any scary situations or too
Lots
many
of
to count?
too many to count.
Okay.
Lots of
Uh,
fun times with my son as he grew up, and
okay.
uh, been through some avalanches, flash floods, rockfall, crevasses. Been through everything. It's been so much
Wow.
excitement.
So do you have all your fingers and toes?
I lost my fingerprints for a little while. That was fun trying to go through immigration when you have no fingerprints anymore, and they keep trying to scan it, and there's nothing left. But
Nothing left. It's back now?
Quebec had time where it was minus 30 on Denali, and that was pretty darn cold.
Well, I had minus 30 at Mount Pisgah in Pennsylvania at a Boy Scout camp when I was 12. Uh, we were
Yeah.
we were all in one teepee. They had built teepees for some reason this year, and it was 30 below, and they kept on going with what they called Camp Brule. So that was good times. All right. Well, we should talk about access. How are your dogs, by the way?
I've got a beautiful Portuguese water dog named Denali after
Oh,
Denali going there.
very good.
He's 3 years old. He doesn't speak any Portuguese and he doesn't like water.
Does he like UPS guys? That's the important question.
He loves the mailman. He starts dancing around whenever he sees the mailman truck. He gets really excited.
Gotcha. Gotcha. I have a lot of dogs on my route, and honestly speaking, I do not make friends with them because that would take me a lot of time. So, and UPS wants me moving. Okay, so you are the champion again. Congratulations. But you faced several opponents on the way. Do you recount the I think four different opponents or three different opponents? Uh,
Let me see if I can pull up the.
Sure. And I'm going to share, if I'm not sharing right now, I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to take you to right here. And this is the game as you would find it on accessnowlaws.org.
Yep.
And here is some fun stuff. I read through the entire script here and very cordial. You guys are just gentlemen. So I should start off by telling the viewers, if you don't know this yet, I'm sure the all the people on the forums who are watching this know this already, but this right here says League 24, Arthur Bomber Harris versus Farm Boy. Now this is okay. So what happened was they listed it as League 24, but there was a match, I believe, in the doing, and you guys said if the person who we think is going to win that wins it, this is going to count as the championship. Is that correct?
That's correct. I had a busy summer, so it was nice to be able to fit this in the earlier part before I did some trips like going out to Washington State. So
Right. So this is actually League 23. It's just that if the other hadn't gone as planned, this would have counted for your League 24. Is that correct?
yep.
Okay, good. So then Arthur Bomber Harris, which is the gentleman in front of us, versus Farm Boy. I've reviewed many Farm Boy games. He is one of my favorites because he loves the Axis. The last time I reviewed Arthur Bomber Harris, he won as the Allies. So he was a good guy last time. Yay. This was Axis the Allies plus 41. That means 41 IPCs. Now, I believe you beat Andrew last year with a 59 or 60 bit.
He won't do that again. He's realized that's just too much. I think I'll be dropping down. So this
Well,
one we had an interesting bid method. Instead of doing a standard bid starting at a big number and then counting down, we had a sealed bid where we
oh,
each submitted a bid to a third party arbitrator.
no kidding.
And then we took the average of the two. I think I was bidding close to 50 and he probably bid close to 30. And
Ah,
so he got to be allies and got to be the average of our two bids to make
no
it a little bit
kidding.
more fair.
Hmm. Hmm. Okay. All right. He goes with the infantry bid in Yunnan. He's gonna go for the Yunnan stack, which we'll show you in a minute. Um, oops, I'm sorry. So did you find the people that you defeated on the ladder? Were you able to find that?
I'm having trouble opening up.
Nope, no problem. You don't
Computer.
have to happen to remember, do you? I th
Is it-
don't worry. Okay, don't worry about it. We'll review this and then I'll show people where it is. I think Gamerman showed us at one point in time, but so he also put subs in 106, 91, and 111, and fighters in Volgograd and Moscow. Now those are going to go to Yunnan for the Yunnan stack. And then
That
they
was
agree on rule. Oh, go ahead.
that was a tough. I mean, just the as a really good bid. His bid
Yeah.
completely makes sense.
Do you like the subs in 106, 91, and 91, 111?
I would
I
normally like a Scotland fighter. He
I
did
was
it
wondering
without
about
the
that.
Scotland fighter, and if the dice had gone according to averages, it would have helped him so much. I wouldn't have done the extra attack in 111.
That's what I was thinking. Um, okay, that's good. And 91 doesn't usually get tagged, although if the person doesn't go to 111, then they might choose to go to 91. So, and I think he was going for a med Jabastion, so I think probably he wanted that plus good for the 96 attack as well. So,
One more
uh,
sub in the med is so helpful in the first turn.
sure, sure. Okay. And so they agree on terms and then they go through their first round. And so this was unusual. Farm Boy actually scrambled, full scramble. Any thoughts on that?
I went into this game expecting that Farm Boy probably had about a 75% chance of winning because he is a better player than me. And so I would enjoy
You
any.
keep saying that, then you keep winning.
I've gotten lucky, both Andrew and Farm Boy. I needed a fair bit of luck, plus in this case, a little bit of a mistake.
Okay.
If
I have noticed the dice numbers on occasion. I'll show the audience in a minute here. The dice did seem to favor you on a number of
But this was
occasions.
111. I mean, the starting round matters more than any other round. And this
Yes.
111, I came out, I think it was 40 total production units worse than what the dice would have expected, especially in that 111, where he kept
Mm,
that battleship alive that became very pivotal later on.
that's true. Yep. Okay, good. Okay,
So
so yeah, go ahead.
yeah, I mean, that was huge scrambling. I was very happy when he scrambled, and I
Hmm.
was very unhappy when the dice didn't come in my favor.
Gotcha. Okay.
Very unhappy when the dice didn't come in my favor.
Gotcha. Okay. So 111 goes extremely well for him. And this is 111 right here. They're very cautious. They ask each other each round what they would like to take. For instance, in this round, and I didn't read too far into this, but I read the script, but I didn't study the map as much. But he was going to tip the battleship, and then he decided he would just take the sub as a hit, and that ended up being significant. The sub only gets one one pip, so he takes the sub and actually ends up being consequential. So then the 110 scramble ends up being not so good. Let's take a look here. There are numbers sometimes at the end of here. It doesn't seem to show up on this one, but
So it will show some of the value changes in those battles, especially in 111. You'll see is a huge
gotcha. Yep.
swing.
Let's go down there. Okay, and then Russia round 2 is pretty normal. I'm looking for that number thing at the end
If
where
you
it
scroll
says
back
the
up,
dice. Scroll
and then-
back up. Okay.
yep, if you
Will
go
do.
back to that turn 1 summary, go into that.
Yep, right
You
here.
scroll up a little, and it will say the combat in 111. You came close.
Okay,
Right
right there. Yep.
So
Oh,
you
battle
see a
score.
lot. 2 subs and attack bomber. Losing planes is very expensive for me.
Yep.
And he only lost 1 destroyer and submarine and kept his battleship, which managed to
Wow.
escape, run away,
Gotcha.
come back again to be a critical part of his fleet.
All right, let's take a look at that battle on the map, the big old map. Can you see my map here, the Axis and Allies map?
No.
Okay, let me figure out why. So it offered me, I'm gonna share. Let's see, I know what I'll do. I'll stop sharing, and then I will share again, and I'll share the whole screen. Just take a minute here as I figure out. Here it is, screen. You see it now?
Yep, it shows.
Excellent. Okay, let's go up to that 111 attack, which we had some nice excitement. I want to move our characters down, and here's 111. And dice on the right panel, and here we go. Germans get a hit with the subs, and then only 2 is able to tip the battleship, and then he gets 3 out of 4 hits.
That was rough.
Yep, and at that point in time, you're going to retreat, I believe.
Yep.
Yep.
We're just going to start losing more planes, and you keep them alive.
That's right. Okay, but this battle goes better, even though he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 units. He is not going to get many. You got every one of your hits. He does get 3 hits, so
that was expensive.
to be said. That was, and
so I lost lose 2 planes out of this.
Wow. Okay, so that's pretty significant. You don't ever think about inflation, do you, in these battles? Obviously, the Germans and the British are, at the beginning at least, without bonuses, fairly even with 28 and 30, but pretty quickly these become more consequential. The British fighters become more consequential.
I mean, the German planes are so important, especially later on when I was trying to pressure towards Moscow and also provide some homeland defense. Being down 2 planes really swung some of the calculations there.
Gotcha. Okay, all the rest, Yugoslavia, I think, went poorly for you as well. Yeah, you got 4 hits. That was pretty significant, but doesn't slow you down much.
It did, because he did really stack in Western Russia. It was able to slow down my down the planes, down the infantry.
Yeah,
he had some really strong counterattacks in Western Russia during around turns 5 and 6, and I was stalled out there for a while.
Yeah, I did notice that the one area where he did particularly well was Russia, I thought. His Russian
Russia and
play
China.
seemed masterful.
Russia and China was two big, strong areas.
Very good. Very good. Okay, so just if you're wondering what masters buy, they buy 7 infantry and 4 artillery.
It's a good
Let's
choice.
see how he places. Yeah, see how he places his troops. Um, and if you take a look over here, 4, and this is going to persuade the Japanese player to leave Yunnan alone. That's a $6 bonus. So, in some ways, you'd go from 41 to $47 extra dollars that you would 48 with the keeping the territory.
I was really tempted to strike that, try my luck. It would be a huge gamble where if I got bad dice, the game would be over. Got good luck, and I'd be back in it. And decided not to do that attack.
Very good. Two transports and a factory. This is buy, and then only the combat and Shahar and Anhui and Yunnan walk-ins in Anhui, Hunan, Shahar, and then a battle in Yunnan, Hunan. Sorry. Let's see how the Japanese. So you are positioned in 36, and also see this a lot from people like Adam. My games, I'm sorry. They keep a strong force out at Caroline, and then the 36 force that a lot of people do. But this is the move. If you haven't done it, people give up the $10 to get this early so they can build their factory, naval base, air base. Sometimes they got it all.
I knew with how strong China was going to be, I was going to need a lot of troops on the mainland.
Gotcha. Very good. Okay, let's keep going. The master buys a carrier, 2 destroyers, 2 subs, and 1 transport. Boy, I always get nervous about these early transports when we haven't won the battle for the Pacific, and you're buying transports. I talked to Gamerman about that as well, but
Did he put that in the Atlantic or in the Pacific? I'm trying to remember.
let's see how it goes.
He had a very strong Atlantic game with that surviving fleet. Yep,
Yep, it went to the Atlantic because he brought. This is one of Farm Boy's big moves is to bring units down to it's the MOA control. I'm gonna just zoom in here a little. So this is I've seen him do this in several games. So he did place that in the Atlantic to replace it, but this is still a Pacific transport. So he does have 3 in the Pacific, 1 in the Atlantic.
he was really harassing me with that fleet. He was holding on to some islands, but he got Java probably on the Anzac turn here, and he was able to hold it, I think, through round 3.
Excuse me. There's the American sub. Okay. American sub, destroyer, bunches in Hawaii, and then has the destroyer sub and transport off the East Coast. Okay, let's keep going. The Chinese.
So
You're
Chinese
saying he's
retreated
very
at
good.
turn 1. It got so much income, he was able to retreat, and now has that big stack there for a counter strike. Instead of keeping it there, he was prepared for the round 2 counter strike and returning back in strength to Yunnan.
10, 12, 13. And let's see what he does with the British. So I've seen him. He'll duck into Burma. He retreats to Szechuan. He really tries to keep this force alive as long as possible, obviously.
Yep, Sichuan was a good choice for him. He has enough to move back. It caused me a lot of headaches. I could not move my infantry there without risking that I just rolls all of those infantry.
Right. So this is where I think he stumbles. Now I am not a champion. You guys are, but I sit here and I go, he does have naval supremacy, so that is maybe he has more of a navy than most British players do. Let's put it that way. So he has more of a navy. He's got the bid sub over here. He's got the battleship cruiser. He's got a destroyer. He's still got a sub and a cruiser here. So all of that does equal a defense of London. So let me just say that right off the bat. However, um, you're looking at the possibilities here. You're looking at Taranto, you're looking at Jabastion, and you're looking at a London stack. And I feel like a scramble and by infantry is one option. A no scramble and do a little adventuring because you've got plenty of planes in the area is another option. But this seems a little risky with full scramble and no infantry built.
If
What
the
did you
dice,
think?
if the
What did you
dice had
think when you
gone,
saw this?
yeah, if the dice had gone average in those first battles, especially C Zone 111, I would have done a Sea Lion. But because he still had that battleship that was still alive, and I was down a couple planes in that exchange, it was just enough that I decided not to do Sea Lion. I was
We're
really
talking
tempted
turn two or
on
turn three.
turn two. Well,
Turn
turn two
two.
you build, two you build, three you attack.
All right. Wow.
But this is really tempting somebody to Sea Lion. You do it too many times, and somebody will take the offer. But
Mm-hmm.
I just lost a little bit too much in that turn one to
Right.
consider Sea Lion.
Okay. Okay.
And I
Well,
think
like
he
I said,
messes up, and he does the Jabastion, and I think he messed up on the having enough troops.
okay. Gotcha. Let's check it out. So pretty standard build for India. Let's see what he does. He's got some small battles. I'm not concentrating on the dice, guys, as much as I am about where you're putting your stuff. So that's your normal retreat to try to save that battleship because obviously he can reach everything around the English Isles with his German planes and ships. So he's got to get him out of there. Interesting flight. Oh, you're doing a blocking move up on what is oh he took out you took out your remaining sub. Gotcha. Okay.
Yep.
Huh. Wow, that's a lot. He wants that sub gone.
It's annoying.
Yeah, peace of mind. There you go. All right, let's see where he ends up. Okay, so he's got this. It is vulnerable. The sub will survive because obviously it does not have a destroyer on the board. These ships seem to have escaped. He's got Jabastion. Okay, and you said he's down one, I believe. He's got three scrambling fighters, aircraft carrier. So he could have one more unit here if he had a scrambling fighter left.
Having the extra fighter would make a huge difference. I think I did the Italy attack on Jabastion. Take a look in that next turn.
Yeah. All right, let's take a look at Egypt with two transports. Not enough. This is brought the fighters down here to get them to Egypt. Transport to activate Persia. Leaves his stuff in India. So I've seen people push forward, obviously. I've seen people hang back. Your thoughts on not moving into Burma, not going to the front lines?
You'd have to add up. Just looking at it, don't think he has enough to stand there in Burma. I can get those transports to move in for the attack. Okay, I guess it's blocked, but I could do a.
Yep, right here, destroyer.
Yep. It
So
was
does
marginal.
he does a double here. He both blocks it, but then doesn't move on it. So that's, I guess, this thing I'm a little confused about.
It
All right.
does block Sumatra.
Would you stack Burma in this case? Are my instincts wrong here?
I think he had enough that next turn. He was able to hold on to Yunnan for quite a while. So
Yes, yes, he was.
I don't think he made any mistakes because he was able to hold on for a really long time.
Okay, but would you have moved forward to Burma?
Probably.
Probably. Okay. All right. I just need a little confirmation.
But it's something, I mean, you take a look, I've got 15 planes there sitting
Yes.
in Guizhou,
Yep. Plus two more.
Guangxi.
Yep.
And I could take 15 planes in Guangxi and I could hit that. And if I got good dice, that's it for his India
Right.
game.
India's gone. Right. Yep. Yep. No, I've seen the raid, and I've seen the AA guns fail for sure. Okay, let's keep going. Sorry, just wanted to slow down on that one. So you take Cyprus. So guys, this is pretty obviously you are wanting him to not ever get that $5 bonus, even though you still have a fairly strong and robust Horn of Africa. You're going to take the extra guys and you're going to take them over to Cyprus. Is that correct? Am I reading that correctly?
I figure I'll probably lose that transport anyway. It means he has to usually sacrifice a transport to take it back. It's well worth it.
Good. That's $5 over even 2 turns, and suddenly your math works out. Okay, let's watch the big battle. So obviously he's got an option to scramble here, but he's taking a look at this and going, "Uh-oh, I need planes. I need defense." So he doesn't scramble.
Also, you could do the math if he scrambles. I think even with the scrambling, he's probably not a favorable odds.
Okay. All right. So here we go. Submarine fires 1, misses. Look at this. First round dice rolls. That must have been made you a little nervous.
Another key thing is that I had the landing spot in southern France. They did not calculate.
Ah, that's right. That's right. Okay, so that's right. I did not mention that, but you took southern France, and that was costly because those troops were not in France, and he got into your artillery. So that left you with only your fast movers, but it enabled you to have a landing spot for your Italian fighters. Good call.
Yep.
Okay, so British roll back and only hit 2. And you ding a battleship, lose a sub, 4 hits, and the British roll back. Boxcars,
Oh, that was rough for him.
1 hit. 1 destroyer's gone. All that hardware. Blub, blub, blub. You finish him off. He's got 1 left. He misses. And the TUV on that is 52. So we have seen the British just being massacred. With the exception of 111, the British have had a tough go of it so far.
So I was up. I was down 40 on that Germany term compared to what the odds should have been, and then made it back with that battle. So that brought me back into the game.
Brought you back into the game. Very good. Sub for purchase. I did want to take a look at your southern. So the southern North African campaign here, and then your can openers.
So here I was trying to make
what's the
sure
transport
that
doing here?
I was reinforcing Tobruk. I knew I was going to lose
Tobruk.
that transport.
Sure.
So I wanted to have as big of a force as possible so as Russian fast movers could not make it down into North Africa and get that consistent money. If he had that recurring bonus of Tobruk, Libya, and what's the others?
Ethiopia, Italian Somalilands, and Libya.
If he gets those 4 and he can hold on to Moscow, Russia gets so much money that the game's over.
Very good. Very good. So if you don't know that the spread of communism bonus, people a lot of times when I was first playing thought of Finland and Norway. These days, it's all about the Africa, North Africa, Horn of Africa. Even Tobruk, which is worth 0, is worth 3 for the Soviet Union, as well as Libya. All right, let's keep going. The French, here is the end of turn. French have a, okay, French, did he not move him? Okay, he did move him. Here we go. Yep, moved them, bunched up, and supported the fleet in Malta. Huh, okay. And then he lost the fighter earlier. That fighter would have been handy right there.
Yep.
Boy. Okay, so then yeah, pretty normal. And let's go into round two. Okay, the purchases for you purchase 10 fast movers and one more boat. You are not giving up the Atlantic
Well,
without
I
a fight.
wanted to be able to make sure I could break that Archangel bonus that's so valuable.
Right. And then battles in Greece, 96, Normandy, 124. You're going to go after that destroyer here. And then
I really don't
non
like that Archangel bonus.
say again. Oh, right.
I-
Okay, so you'd like to do $54 for turn two.
And
Not
you
too
see, I
bad.
left Normandy there. I did intentionally did not go after Normandy. I
Gotcha.
wanted it to remain in French hands so that he could not build use that factory when America lands.
Okay, so you ended up losing just a mech. You were trying to just disable him a little bit so he wouldn't be able to pick at your Paris, I'm assuming, in that
Paris,
raid.
I think I'm fine with it, but it'd be more that I could be attacking South France. If he takes France, if he takes Paris, then he
Oh yeah,
can
you wouldn't
lose
want
that
to do
money
that.
again. I'd love if he takes Paris.
Oh man, that's such a bad up mechanic in the game. Okay, anyways. So, all right. 12 infantry. And you are not you are bunched up in Romania. You are going to JDAO talks about being in Ukraine by turn 4. Let's see if you make it. And then so you could see that your that $6 obviously for the sub is going to detract a little bit from the push on Moscow. Plus a 6 infantry. They're going into Germany,
I'm
Berlin.
starting to build up my Western defenses, which proved critical.
Western defenses.
I knew this was going to be a long fight, so I want to make sure that the Allies could not get an easy beachhead in Western Europe.
So you are not trying for a bum rush on Moscow because you know he's really good at Moscow. All right, this is what I call a patient German player. So if you're used to playing tabletop and going at it by turn 6, 7, and then you guys call it a day, this is not the way that online is played, which you could see pretty easily 20 rounds. Is
You
that
won't
all?
see, yep, you won't see any high level league matches where Moscow falls on turn 8. Those days are gone.
Yeah. It used to be 2017, 2018 when I got on here and started studying. Everyone was saying Moscow's not going to Moscow's going to fall. Moscow falls by turn 6. YouTube videos are still up that say Moscow will fall by turn 6.
Yep.
Not against good players.
Not when
All
you
right.
can, well, one, you got the bid, so he's got 2 extra
Yep.
planes that will make it back. And then you
Sure.
will also get some British fighters in there, and that's enough to keep it alive.
All right. And then the whole bonuses in Africa can really spice things up. Iraq is definitely doable. Okay, so let's move into. Just want to see what he's doing with Moscow. His defenses here. Okay, so here he's ready to go into the Middle East. Get some of those delicious bonuses. Let's see what he does over here. So he's bunched up in Buryatia. I'm thinking he'll be back in a more not too long in the future. And you buy a factory, tank, artillery, mech, and an infantry. All right, let's see what you do. Strategic bombing raid on India, and that is wildly successful. 14, I think it is. 14 damage on
Mhm.
that is some successful raiding. And then you do some skirmishes down here.
And that 14 was a game changer. If he had the extra 5 infantry on India, I would have probably lost this game.
No kidding. Wow.
You can go, it's probably what, turn 6 or 7 that India falls. And if you add
Yep.
in 5 more infantry, it would have been too expensive for me.
No kidding. Okay. So pretty much everything here goes successful for Arthur Bummer Harris. And
But it does keep Java.
Yep.
It's annoying there with Java.
um, did you? You didn't. You just attacked the C zone, not Java itself. And then
Yeah, too much
Tang
state.
Falls. Yeah, Philippines. Yeah, I just played a game against a guy, and he brought in all the transports, and I thought to myself, well, there's a bonus to fighting that Java battle because all the other islands are going to stay in my hands.
That
Um,
Java is so useful, you can then fly those planes on to India and get them into China or Moscow.
so yeah, and I have noticed a lot of Axis players actually positioning their navy here. And I think that's Andrew A. Gamer who I first saw do it, but then my games did it too. This is such a strong spot. Normally you'd think of people dropping a naval base in Hainan. That was the good old days. But Java is an excellent spot for the Japanese Navy.
And so that was the good thing of having the Caroline Islands on that Japan one that forced the American fleet to stay in Pearl Harbor instead of coming off the coast of uh, Australia.
54. Yep, sure.
Well, 54 would have been more troubling.
Right. And he's backed off into, oh, it's not, oh, there he is. He's slowly making his way toward you. Okay, so we have a mostly naval purchase. Let's see. I would assume most of this is going to the Pacific. Let's see what he does. Battle in 43. And battle in 54. Take out that convoy. And let's see what he ends up with. Okay, so he's got some planes down here in Queensland. What was the Borneo? C zone 43. He sniped sniped the transport. Very good. Yay, America.
Yep, I knew it could not keep that defended.
And of course, but lose $7 transport, you recovered it in two turns of holding Borneo.
Yep, just one.
Okay, so yep. Hawaii is stacked and hanging up. Sorry. Let's move forward. Everything in New Zealand. I recently did this with a guy who positioned himself off of 42. And then I was able to if you have planes here, and you own Shan State or Malaya, you can snipe a nice little juicy aircraft carrier sitting off of Malaya, which was my joy to get to do. Hawaii, nothing in C Zone 6. And then most of the boats went to the Pacific. So this is almost entirely a Pacific build. And he does activate Brazil with a sub off 91.
So he's investing heavily in the Atlantic theater, and it's going to be tough for Germany. I knew Germany could not go after Moscow too strongly. It's to be a lot more defensive at this point.
Gotcha. All right. Okay. Let's check out China. China is holding tough. They're in the zone. And French Indochina. So one of the quirky things about the game, I will say, is that China cannot go into French Indochina. And so although these planes are naked, as they say in the South, they are bare naked. They cannot be attacked by the Chinese. And I am weeping on the inside. All right, and you've got quite a force up here in Anhui. Your factory in Manchuria, a little glitch there. The computer glitching here. And then you are coastal right now. No, bunched here. Okay, so China is hanging tough. Planes over here, though.
It just
All
barely
right.
has enough to hold on to Yunnan.
Gotcha. You ran the math, I'm sure. Oh, guys, just in case you don't know, you go over here in this program called to Battle Calculator territory. Battle Calculator is Control B. You go here, you click on it, and then you press Control B, and then you can pull up a battle calculator. There are others online that are really good, that give you the percentage results of a battle. It's kind of fun. But these guys are Andrew A. Gamer as well as Arthur Barmer Harris. A lot of times they are playing through the entire next turn as a practice round and battle calcing everything. Is that correct, Arthur?
And not only will I battle calc, but I will actually run the battle maybe 10 or 20 times and see how many times it's favorable to me or the opponent, because battle calc doesn't always tell you the whole story.
Very good. So just there are some people that are uncomfortable with it. It is a tool, and it is a shocking tool sometimes. Like a single unit um, can swing the percentages by 20%, maybe even sometimes even more, depending on the size of the army. So it really is a tool that your instincts cannot replace. In fact, you should have your instincts taught by the battle calculator. And this guy is standing here because of one of the reasons he's standing here is because of that. And that also, by the way, is called hard work. So kudos to you for the hard work.
Some luck also
Okay.
helps.
What's that again?
Some luck also helps, and
Yes,
miscalculations on the other opponent's side.
sure. That's true. That's true. And so British buy 4 units. Um, so let's see where he puts these. I'm feeling like the unit count is going down precipitously right now. Okay, so he's going to take out that sub. He's going to take out the battleship, and he's going to take over much of the Horn.
But he's keeping Ethiopia and Italian Somaliland for his Russian fast movers.
It's
I have
good stuff.
Tobruk stacked there. I was going to make sure he could not get North Africa, but if he did it right, he would have Ethiopia and Somaliland. And I think it was like turn 6 or 7 where he loses his mech infantry that was heading there.
Gotcha. Gotcha. So the British player is going to stack 109, 3 scrambling fighters. That is a rock. That's going nowhere. Gibraltar is in his hands with an air base, which is always handy. American fighter there. The Horn is in his possession with a small navy from India off of Madagascar. And then he's activated Northwest Persia. So a lot of times people will raid Iraq with an air force and leave it open. Obviously, he's been a busy little boy. So repaired, he did stack some into Yunnan, but then holding much of this back, building looks like three units there. And he's got a destroyer ready to jump in there and act as a blocker or just to be useful against submarines. All right, let's keep going. The Italians, what did they do? They buy 3 mechs, and we're going to see a battle in Malta. Wow. And then he's going to do the raid on Normandy, which works out perfectly.
Yep, I did not want to capture. I wanted to kill his troops, but
that is what's called skill, people. Skirmish raid skill. Okay, let's go to, I just wanted to check out where, okay, so we have the Atlantic Wall being built, 3 mechs here. Total, this has got to be frustrating to an allied player. I know, like I said, he's got to be happy about Egypt. He's got to be happy about, even though he stumbled pretty hard in 110 and 92, he's still got this huge fleet already built up, extending power over the Med, although Italy is getting the bonus. So there are things to rejoice over. And then India and Yunnan stack. That's some good stuff right there.
Things were going well for Farm Boy, especially in the western front of Russia was so pivotal at that point. Was just a little bit extra strong compared to normal, and I was just a little bit weaker than normal, and it makes a huge difference.
It does. Battle in 44 to take out that transport. Yummy, yummy. I've got love in my tummy. And he buys and stacks Queensland and transport. What do we got here? We got 2 American transports. Anzac transports. These better players than me are buying a lot of transports, and I still feel like they're behind you. As far as the Japanese Navy goes, you have a lot more pointy things than they do.
Yep, but if you can get into an exchange where you're trading money with the Japan 1 for 1, then the Allies will win.
Yeah. All right. Well, I will concede the greater fellows than I, but I wouldn't have bought the transport. I'm just gonna say it. Okay, let's take a let's go to your third. You are investing in the ships. All right, the Atlantic is a war zone and no combats this time. And let's see how you position yourself. Okay, so you have moved in. You recognize that you are aiming for Ukraine, but see how that goes. You're in to Russia and you are convoying. Nothing to, there's 2 transports, but really nothing to fear there. Just devastating. You like these little, that's frustrating. Hold on just a sec. Let me pause. I'm just gonna mute my mic for a second. Hold on a sec. Okay. Yep. Okay. Yep. Okay. And let's see here. Okay, so it's funny because I mean this does not look particularly strong, but I know that it is not vulnerable at all. So real finesse there.
He's getting ready to head towards the Middle East with that Russian groups.
Yep. All right. Let me just take a look right now. I just want to see where you are. Turn to complete will not show it. You got to go down here. You are at 48, earned 3. Okay. Let's keep going. Go back to history, right panel, 10 infantry, 2 mech. Let's see what happens. Only combat moves, so no combats, and that's still making $34. And we are in to China. And the planes are back in Yunnan.
And here's where he made a critical mistake. He only sent 1 mech infantry down towards the Middle East.
Yeah, that is
He should have
strange.
had his second. If he had 1 more fast mover, it would have changed the game.
No kidding. Yeah, so he sends 4 here. Yeah, it does. I have to say that's a bit strange.
He wanted to hold the Western Front. It was such tight battles there in the Western Front, and he needed to hold the Western Front, and that 1 extra fast mover did change the outcomes in some of that.
Tough choices. As Thomas Sowell likes to say, trade-offs. And this trade-off, you really have to babysit this this mech. I've had the German bomber sent against it, and it just devastating. Yep.
And he's ready to move into Korea. I didn't have enough to really defend Manchuria and Korea. It was really tight battles there.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. So because this is in Italian hands, an Italian bomber can reach. So this would have to be guarded by 2 British units at least 1 other British unit.
Should we jump ahead a bit towards some of the pivotal ones?
Yes, please.
We should get to the India one, which is like turn 6 or 7.
Okay. I'm gonna just scroll down, and we're gonna watch. You can watch the mini map, and you can watch the colors change, and the animation will take us around to some of the battles. But it's mostly skirmishes. You know, there's small battles here, and you're watching the Japanese take over. Finally, they had the money islands. The Americans still investing a lot, picking off transports. Finally got the Carolines, turned 4, and then 5 for the Chinese. They didn't attack, and then Battle in '96 skirmishes. Iraq falls. You can see it in the right corner right there. So you got to do Iraq very carefully. Oh, he took it. So
He took
a lot of
it.
times, people raid that because that right there is $5. Um, would you consider that a mistake? He did have
It's a
the
tough choice. Later on, he was able to have a factory there, which helped him get
ah
units in it.
okay. After watching Andrew AA Gamers, I never put a factory in the Middle East because of his. It seems to tantalize him and bring him in. Okay, you build another ship, and let's just watch him as he stacks southern Italy because of the large Allied fleet out there, and then feels confident enough to move units out. And then just want to look at your movement, your purchase here. Purchase for
Trying to get my
Germany.
bombers going.
Bombers are coming in.
Bombers
It's your
coming. I ended up with
your favorite
14 of
unit. How
them by
much?
the end.
14.
14.
Wow, Dark Skies.
Dark skies.
Okay, and he's going to buy 11, and it is again. Let me just go up here. I just want to note again. This is not necessarily you're making $60 by turn 5. This is a slower, very dynamic. The bomber's going to make it so he can go both ways, and sometimes even 3 ways, both Russia, Atlantic, and even North Africa, Middle East, Mediterranean. Skirmishes in Russia, and again, not a lot of. Okay, so this is pretty amazing play, I got to say, for Russia. Just very impressive on his part to see that deep pushing back into Belarus. This Rostov is finessed, even Volgograd as well as Samara. So a lot of finesse here in his
Yeah.
play.
Normally, people are hiding back in Moscow by that turn, and he was able to stand toe to toe for another couple rounds.
Gotcha. This disadvantage of starting the Atlantic Wall a little earlier is that you're gonna the Russian player is gonna have a little bit more room to breathe. So you're buying an air base, and let's keep going on that. And strategically bombing India again, 15 damage, and picking off stuff, making us buy more. And oh, we're in C Zone 6.
Yep, he
Korea.
got Korea, and he was able to hold on to for a really long time.
Wow. Okay. Wow. So this is some skill. We got a glitch up there in the north. Let's just check this out. See if I can get it to clear up. You got Korea, got a transport. Kamikazes do not fight transports, airplanes, or transport subs. Wow, a lot of power off of Iwo Jima. And another transport here. Wow, he's looking like a genius right now. Carolines.
He was doing really well on both sides of the boards, and thankfully for the India mistake, it changed the game.
Okay, so the mistake is about to come up, and you could try and see it. So oh, wow, you got, excuse me, little itchy nose, 2 battleships, and nothing to fear. There is just nothing to fear there. Wow. I had some confidence right there, man.
Yep. It was
And then
using those planes. I think they moved the planes to the Middle East or towards Moscow.
Burma, the Chinese went to Burma. I don't know if everyone knows that, but you can move into Burma. and China is still fairly strong. You do not have all your forces. They would normally be a little further south, going Anhui, Hunan, Yunnan, but you are fighting a wide front. All right, and let's see if it shows up. The glitch is still there. Okay, and let's see what let's go down to the Italians, and let me keep going down. Okay, so picking off some stuff. So southern France fell to England, I think.
He did a suicide
Americans.
mission. I don't understand why he would send in that transport and the infantry to take southern France. It didn't seem to have paid off.
So it's a $7, $10 effort for $3 and easy a raid. Okay. Britain is still buying lots of Navy, not too many ground units. So, if you ever thought that, the thing I should do is buy a lot of transports and fill them up with a lot of men, that is not the way these games work out. A lot of times the Allies are buying lots of planes and lots of boats. Would you agree with that, Arthur? Bomber?
Oh yeah, they're expensive. Transports are very expensive.
Yep. Okay, let's go down here. 93. Okay, and then Southern France, raid. All right, let me just circle around at the top of round 5, and then we're about to get into a mistake, either 5 or 6. So this is a little light to me. Obviously, you've got this can quickly be defense in 110, but obviously also pretty light. Norway, Finland is strong, and this Navy with a 3-plane scramble is stronger than it looks. And then Southern France has got a ton of aircraft. Wouldn't be too long before if you did an invasion, you would be into the money. But 4 unit, you'd have to kill 4 units, and you'd be into the planes. But he only has 2 and 2 transports, 4 transports. Battleship over here. Middle East is full. Still, Tobruk sitting there.
He's got his Russian transport mech infantry there in
Right.
Transjordan, ready to move down, but not
You'd
enough.
think the French guys could have been a protectorate for that force if they had just stayed behind, All right. And then Burma. I mean, this does look very respectable, obviously. Just incredibly powerful. So let's check it out though. We've got a naval base here. The naval base goes 1, 2, and 3. 9 damage on the factory. He's got 2 transports. Looks like he's offering it to you.
But it would take it right back.
Yeah, obviously. Yep. Trying to figure out, is he trying to protect his Chinese?
I mean, it's only 6 income for UK right now for India, so it's not a big swing. If I send all my forces there and then I lose them, it's not worth me taking them.
Okay. All right. And then nice over here, Carolines as well as owning Korea and Iwo Jima. Okay. There's a lot going on here. Let me just look at the players. I just want to look at the numbers real quick. And I know we're gonna have to wrap this up soon, but 175 and 138. At some point in time there, it's gonna go bonanzas. It's gonna just you're just gonna start dominating monetarily.
So Japan on 5. I moved my fleet towards the off of India.
Mm-hmm. It's a sweet little move here. So we are. It's just it's a World War One trench warfare in the Eastern Front, which is, just got to admire him for that. He's as far deep as Belarus. That's an amazing fighting ground, amazing depth to that. Rostov holding off the swing into Caucasus and Volgograd. And here we go with the Japanese combat in Ceylon. Okay, take note, folks. That is a expert move right here. And then he's going to take India, and then all of China goes from being a war zone to being completely lost, with the exception of Manchuria, I think, in Korea. And here, let's take a look at the battle. I don't think there's any huge swings of luck here. He okay, and Japanese win, and this was the losses. You did lose a plane here. He does lose 3 units. All right, and then we go down to non-coms, and this now looks like a total rout, obviously, for China. Although you still own Manchuria, but my computer's glitching as far as Korea. Are there 18 Russians here?
There are, so it's so strong I couldn't take it back
Gotcha. Okay.
ever. And I had to flee that factory in Manchuria. It was just too strong.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay, so this is a computer glitch. He's here with Americans and Russians. Okay, let's see if it ever fixes itself. Sometimes, unfortunately, you have to get out and in, and I don't have time to do that right now. So the Americans bomb, they attack, they take over. They're into the Med in a big, big way. They buy 4 infantry, and they surge into Yunnan. You can see it on the mini map. And then there we go.
So they
So
went
still
back to India
strong.
with this main stack, but he miscalculated that I could get those planes from French Indochina, attack India, and then land in Sri Lanka.
And then Sri Lanka. Yeah, okay, Sri Lanka, yeah. Okay, so let's do the math here, folks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with the airbase here. So Ceylon, right there. You've seen it here, folks. That is a strong move, and that will be a move which ends the resistance in India, because the Chinese cannot go into India. If you play War Room, they can, but not in J40. Anglo-Egyptian Sudan. The horn is still up for grabs, and there it is. That's the big move. Okay, so
changed the game in the West.
Okay, let's take a look at that. Okay, here it is. We have the artillery. So why he didn't have a 3rd unit here?
Third unit, what changed that outcome?
Oh man, check that out. Okay, so there's a battle dice hit. He hits. It's a 1v1. He hits. You hit. He misses.
Yep.
And that's all she wrote.
But I knew even if I lost the bomber, and that would have been worth it to prevent him from getting all of that spread of communism bonus for the rest of the game.
I just he's got so many units right here.
Yep.
And he's got so many units right here, and you can't spare one for the battle that you know is coming.
Well,
Must have been a brain fart, I would assume.
I think he forgot about the bomber coming in.
Oh, how do you forget about the Italian bomber? Oof.
It's tricky.
Yeah, I know.
A tricky one.
Right, right. Yep, that's true. That's true. But if you're ever playing this gambit where you're sending the Russians down, you got to protect that. Just like transports, you got to baby your Russian mech or your Russian tank coming in to take those yummy, delicious spread of communism bonuses. Those 2 battles right there are going to change the game. And really, by the end of turn 6, this game is, in my opinion, this game is over. And we're going to see the numbers to prove that. Still heavily skirmishing on the Eastern Front, so not taking anything from him. He's a much better player. I've studied more games of Farm Boy than anybody else, actually. He's an excellent player. Incredible. Russia is so dynamic. Even if you had fully committed to Russia, he can still make Russia work. He's pretty amazing.
Yep, I've never seen this good in Russia before.
And then the Japanese. Here's the big push. and now he's coming in. Planes come in, everything comes in. China's mostly collapsed, and now India's going to collapse
And
and
this is a
not
good
be
one to
able to be retaken.
you can battle calc that on India. And you can see just how critical those extra planes coming in from French into China was. Without those extra planes, there was no way I could have done that.
Right. So just the numbers, pure numbers here, 6, 9, 10, 17, 20, 21, I believe. And he's got 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Only one hits, so you're 20 to 17.
Yep.
Those threes are just going to do it. And oh, the bombardment as well. You hit 2 for the bombardment. And he falls a little short of on his 2s. And
Average.
yeah, and
I think
that's
this battle came out pretty much exactly on average.
gotcha. All right, and we'll just scroll through, and I wanted to show a few more things to the guys, and I wanted you to explain. So Greece is a big thing these days. Both Gamerman mentioned that the other day, as well as now he's doing this. Obviously, Greece is a really nice way to get to Moscow. If you have so then China expands a little bit more because you've put all your eggs in India, and Battle for 95. Okay, a little better late than never, huh? And then the Italians buy 4 infantry, Rostov can openers, and turn complete. All right, and I just want to show 2 things here. Let's just take a look at round 7. End of round 7. Clean up players at this point in time. The 158s, that is way over the red line. 145 is your engine light is on. 158, the pistons are now sounding, and you can hear them thudding against the wall because there's no oil left. 123 to 142. Still quite a bit ahead, even though he's been buying the expensive stuff. He's still quite a bit ahead of you. But the TV is okay too. But just the income is just going to kill him.
So I normally talk about round 8 if you go to the income after round 8.
Okay. Let's go to, I'm just going to skip down to the end of round 8. And let's open that up.
So I'm only behind by 14.
Yep.
And I usually talk the magic point is like a gap of 20. If you're less than a gap of 20 for the axis at the end of 8, you have a good chance of winning. So
right.
it's still really close battle against Farm Boy. He's such a masterful guy. If he had those Russians going into the spread of communism, he probably long term could make it back.
Right. Okay, let's take a look. I wanted to show something down here, if I can find it. In some of the games, at the end, there is a number. I'm not seeing it now. It's crazy. Oh, it's not it. There it is. Right here, it says Italians negative 0.33, British regular 0.17. And then this continues on. You can check it out. And it actually shows kind of who got lucky and who didn't. And actually, I've never, there's sometimes the numbers can go pretty high. Like I saw a negative, here's a -3 for the Italians and a negative. Do you want to explain that? Are you aware of what that is?
So that's just for that turn of what the expected dice were compared to what turned out. And it can, sometimes it's really positive when you have these overwhelming battles where you have all of your Air Force plus 1 infantry going against 1 other infantry. So you have to see sometimes those big numbers come from unimportant battles. I care more about the total unit value swing of actual versus expected from battle calc. And like that turn one, I was minus 40 for Germany
Sure.
compared to actual versus expected. And those are the huge swings.
Okay, so you your strategy going in here seems to me that you are going to stand toe to toe with the Russians, but being aware of his prowess, you are also going to project power over the Atlantic and over the Med by use of aircraft, um, and and then I looks like you wanted to win with the Japanese. The Japanese were going to sort of deal the killing blow. Is that accurate?
I often don't look at victory cities. I look for economic victory.
Okay,
I know once I get my Axis income more than the Allies, it's going to be eventual win somewhere.
gotcha.
This was a
Bravo.
good map. You see there in was it Yunnan? I had the German bombers actually make it there. Was that the next
Okay.
turn I started to have German bombers come? That made a huge
Uh,
swing in the Pacific.
okay. Let me just see if I can find that.
Are they
Yunnan.
down? Are they in Tokyo now?
Oh, let me check.
Yep.
There they are.
And that means he can't ship block me. I can, if he tries to ship block me with the American fleet, the Germans can clear the ship block, and then I can counter strike.
Hmm. Wow. Okay.
Spend
Okay.
a lot of time getting them there.
Wow. Well, it's that is quite a game. Uh, you guys did some amazing work. So, what do you have any did you let me ask you if you bought North Africa. Did you buy the North Africa game? The new
No,
Axis Knowledge? No, okay. I haven't
no.
either. Um, just I gotta still do that hopefully by Christmas. But and you are probably into this year. Let's see if we can find that actually before you go. Let's so if you go on accessknowledge.org and you go to League, um, you can actually go to uh, league results, post league game results. You can also go to league standings, um, and this shows some of the ladder. Let's see if we can find that real quick. This that will be used for league standings playoffs 124 and beyond. Okay, I think this is the one. This is new.
And you can take a look at the ELO ratings. People like Andrew and Farm
The what?
Boy are
Yeah,
incredible.
yep. Okay, so right now, let's. This is the current standings. Farm Boy, J Dow, Adam. Okay, and I'm gonna say okay to that. I'm slowing down, so let's see here. I am gonna get out of my Access Knowledge game just to give me a little more computing, and I'll see if I can get out of that too. Almost there. Okay, so I wanted the 2023 playoffs for out of box. Nope, 2023 playoffs right here. Here it is, out of box. Here it is. So you beat Doggone It, and then you beat Pacifier's Board. I'd like to ask him why he names it Pacifier's Board. And then you beat Farm Boy for the championship.
And you see how tough that bottom bracket was. You had three amazing players, Andrew, Estello, and Farm Boy are all really top
Oh
players.
yeah. Yeah, and I don't know Alexander the Great, but I know all of these others. Doggone it, just love the game, and I appreciate him. Um, and then, Oestello, yep, and Farm Boy,
I was
Andrew.
so happy to be in that top bracket. That bottom bracket just had some incredible players, and I was glad I only played one of those. Stella's beaten me a bunch of times. Andrew is a top player. You see his ELO ranking a lot more than me, better than me. And Farm Boy's one of the best of the best.
All right. How are you doing this year? How's this year going for you?
I just got beaten by Andrew. We had a critical 50-50 match in Moscow. That dice came out slightly in his favor. It was a tough match, and I tried to get bad luck in the regular season and get better luck in the playoffs. That's my professional tip.
That's my poke when I'm playing poker. I say I'd rather get lucky at the end than I would lucky at the beginning.
I mean, just
So
look
there
at
you go.
those ELO ring. Farm Boy at almost 2,100. And so when I'm going against these better players, I'm willing to take risks. I know that Andrew's more than 100 points higher than me. Farm Boy's almost 400, is 300 something better than me. They are significantly better skill than me, and I sometimes need some luck or mistakes.
You still prefer the Axis?
So I think the bid should be somewhere around 50, 55, 60 is too high.
And you would take if someone gave you 55, you would take.
It's really close around there. 55. I don't know which way. It's some number around there.
How about 56?
That's why I like these sealed bids, is that you can get the average, so you don't have the winner's curse. Often with bidding systems, the person, if you win, it's probably you made a mistake. With sealed bid, you're probably getting something that's pretty accurate.
Huh. Okay. Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much for spending some time with us tonight. Congratulations on your hard work. I think everyone heard how much effort you put into this, and really, congratulations. You've done a fantastic job against some very good players, and you will not be going back to back. Now, by the way, everyone knows Farm Boy actually went back to back in Balance Mod last year and this year, and you went back to back in Out of Box. So congratulations to both of you. You're excellent players, and my hat's off to you. Thank you for sitting down for this interview, and I'm sure that everyone who listens to this is going to be a better player after listening to your advice.
Thanks so much for hosting it, Crockett.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I'm going to stop sharing, and then I'm going to find the stop recording. Well, thank you again, and this is Crockett 36 out. Good talk to you, man. Bye-bye.
Thank you.